Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of RegAlytics, and I'm here to give you an update on this week's 23,222 regulatory alerts. I hope all of you had a lovely Memorial Day weekend and you did not think about regulation at all. I certainly didn't. I went to Legoland. I took my kid to the World War II Memorial in Hoboken, and we waited for the Navy flyover, which unfortunately was canceled because of low-hanging clouds, but I guess, given the weather in the rest of the country, we're in pretty good shape. But I also didn't worry because I got back to my desk this morning and plowed through everything I didn't see last week. I use them all the time for excuses to keep in touch with clients, to send ideas to prospects, and basically use it as a business development tool. And if you're anything like me, where you get asked to speak on panels or provide thought leadership on different topics, spending an hour a week understanding what's going on in our world is completely worth the effort, especially if you're in sales. So, what did I learn this week? So many things. It's honestly hard to pick. But the regulator of the week is Tennessee. They passed 27 new laws this last week, and a few are worth mentioning. One, HB 2434, makes private entities not liable for class actions resulting from a cybersecurity event unless it was caused by willful, wanton, or gross negligence. HB 2118 is pushing for nuclear energy in the state. And finally, HB 2553 is prohibiting foreign party-controlled businesses from acquiring or holding public or private land in the state. I'm not even sure if that's legal, but we'll see. The topic of the week is energy policy. 1. The United States Trade Representative put out new tariffs on Chinese products like lithium batteries, N95 masks, and electric vehicles that will in some cases double the cost of these items in the U.S. Meanwhile, South Carolina is super excited that Clarios, a prominent battery manufacturer, is expanding operations and creating jobs. Only 12 jobs in this case, but these kinds of alerts about new jobs in EV, lithium batteries, semiconductors, CHIPS Act, they are daily. The U.S. is flush with jobs, which is typically the intent of economic protectionism. Meanwhile, President Biden is releasing 1 million barrels of gasoline from reserves to decrease fuel prices. None of this is going without plenty of criticism on all of these energy policies as extremely costly. I'm going to leave it at that and move on. Also, a hot topic is Justice Alito and the Stop the Steal flags at his private residence. So far, Congress members from New Jersey, New York, Maine, Georgia, and Tennessee have called for him to recuse himself over any January the 6th hearing before the Supreme Court, given that the court is supposed to be impartial, meaning they're not supposed to have a political agenda in advance to hearing the case, and they're supposed to be hearing them with an open mind. JPM got a big fat fine this week from the CFTC for $200 million for trade surveillance and supervision failures. The surveillance gaps came from JPM's failure to configure certain data feeds correctly that would ensure complete trade and order data were ingested into its actual surveillance tools, which resulted in the failure to surveil billions of order messages over several years. Oops. But equally interesting is Carolyn D. Pham's dissent. If you remember from last week, this is a CFTC commissioner who last week called for a CFTC investigation. Her comment here is, I find it deeply disturbing that the CFTC did not provide reasonable accommodation to respect a religious holiday. The CFTC demanded that legal submissions be produced on Yom Kippur. I do not believe the CFTC would have done the same thing if it were Christmas Day. This raises concerns regarding unequal treatment under the law based on religion. The CFTC is not above the Constitution no matter what. These actions are yet another example of why I have called for a GAO study on the CFTC's internal procedures. While I support this significant settlement and remind all registrants that they must ensure diligent supervision under our regulations, that is no excuse for the CFTC's apparent lack of respect for rights. I thought that was interesting. There's more. There's plenty more, but you're just going to have to get your own subscription to RegAlytics to get everything you really need. And that's it this week for RegAlytics. We have the global supply chain of the world's regulatory alerts in one very easy to use place. If you need a solution for anything related to regulation, give us a call.